Well, I'm back, and I'm better than ever. All right, I'll spare everybody my singing chops there as I, lay down the tune of the old Eric Bischoff WWE theme. But it's a very big WWE weekend, and welcome to today's edition of the Wrestling Drive right here on thedailyspotlight.com and on the Daily Spotlight official YouTube page. It's been a little while, and I do apologize for that, but I figured with such a big weekend ahead of us, what better time to jump right back into things, pick things up where we left them off. Recovered from a pretty icky case of vertigo, but I'm here. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon. We're going to take it easy. Friday morning. This is Friday morning, and we're going to take it easy today, and we're going to get through the end of the work week right into a huge wrestling weekend. If you are in Toronto, I'm jealous, as WWE is now starting to unload their 4-in-4 for all of their Big 4 pay-per-views. For those who did not hear the news, I believe it was reported yesterday that WWE, starting with WrestleMania 33, will be doing a 4-in-4 weekend for all of the folks who decide to, who are able to travel for these Big 4 shows, obviously Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, and the Survivor Series. They will be treated to 4 consecutive nights of WWE live events, starting with the NXT Takeover show on the Saturday night, then the pay-per-view extravaganza on Sunday night, followed by Raw and SmackDown live, respectively. So, I mean, huge weekends, and I know the folks that are in Toronto, I know a few friends of mine who are there now. They haven't exactly started that just yet, but they do obviously have the big NXT Takeover show tomorrow night, which I will get to, and then the Survivor Series show. And, obviously we had SummerSlam right here in my neck of the woods here in New York City just a couple of months ago, which we covered in depth here on the Wrestling Drive and on the dailyspotlight.com. So I know a lot of folks, if you're there, there's a lot of different independent groups that are going on. There's a lot of different meet and greets and autograph signings and different fun events. WWE takes over a town like none other, and if you're there, enjoy it. It's going to be a fun couple of days. I'm going to be getting into my Survivor Series predictions on how I do the show a little bit later on today. I'll be back with another edition of the Wrestling Drive. We're doubling up today. But I wanted to get into NXT TakeOver, and I also wanted to let you guys know that make sure you tune into the dailyspotlight.com, because that is really going to be your one-stop source for all things Survivor Series. All throughout the weekend, I'm going to be putting up flashbacks, reviews of different live Survivor Series events that I've attended in the past, whether it be Survivor Series 2013 in Boston or Survivor Series 2002 over in New York City. We're going to be spanning through many different Survivor Series memories, and hopefully you will join us on this journey. So, in any event, let's get right into NXT TakeOver Toronto. These shows are always great. These shows always push the envelope, and if you did not hear the media conference call, you got to give NXT credit. As Triple H mentioned, they've lost 16 different talents over the last couple of months to the main roster, and have really kind of had to revamp all of NXT. Really, if you think about it, you look at WrestleMania. I mean, yeah, you had Asuka at TakeOver Dallas, and you had Samoa Joe, and really that's it. I mean, you also had, I guess, the Revival, but other than that, they basically have revamped the entire roster, and they've done a really good job in that. So I think it's going to be a really good show this weekend. Let's get into some of the big matches of the show. Obviously, this starts with the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament, invitational tournament, so to speak. Finals of that tournament, where TM61 will be taking on the Authors of Pain. Great idea here. This tournament. These tournaments are always fun and always good to, obviously anytime you could show some sort of tribute to Dusty Rhodes, it's obviously a good thing. So I think the way they booked this was really great. I love that they kind of put the shine on a couple of the newer up-and-coming teams, give them a spot on the show. Would have liked to see the semis also on the main show, but obviously with what they're doing with the DIY guys, it makes sense for them to have been eliminated prior to the show so they can get their tag title match. So in any event, I think the Authors of Pain take this. They've kind of run right through everybody since they've came there. This is an obvious match. If you remember the first ever Dusty Rhodes tournament last year, you had American Alpha kind of being that up-and-coming team, and they took on Rhino and Baron Corbin and lost in the competitive match. I expect the same here. I expect the Authors of Pain to take care of business. And then I'm very interested to see if Cody Rhodes is going to show up to give that trophy. Usually Dusty's family does. I assume Cody got the invitation. I shouldn't assume that, but I mean, you would think he would. And so it's going to be interesting to see if he does, in fact, show up to TakeOver. In any event, so I do predict the Authors of Pain win that match. Another big match on the show, the Perfect 10. Ty Dillinger, one of my favorite guys in all of NXT, He's going one-on-one with Glorious. Okay, I told you I'd stop the singing. Bobby Roode, gonna be a fun match. This one, I think, will go the way of Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode's gotta be that guy that's kind of bringing up towards the title picture. I love Ty, but I don't think that, I mean, unless they want to give him a huge victory, it's gonna just be fun atmosphere. Both guys from Toronto, both local guys, and should be fun. But I do predict Bobby Roode takes that match. Next up, we're getting the DIY guys going for the tag team titles against the Revival. Another really fun match this should be. I do expect the Revival to retain here, and then I do unfortunately think this will be the end of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano as a tag team. They've already established a bunch of teams now in the tournament, so you don't really need those guys to be a team. Both of them can do well on their own. I expect them to kind of split on Saturday, tomorrow night. So, moving right along, you've got the women's title match. Asuka, the undefeated Asuka, taking on Mickie James. I do not expect that Asuka's going to be losing her undefeated streak here, but it'll be cool to see Mickie James back in WWE ring. Mickie had a pretty underrated run, other than the Piggy James stuff. So it's going to be cool to see Mickie James back in a WWE ring or NXT ring. But that being said, I can't imagine that Asuka loses the title here and loses that undefeated streak. So in any event, I do predict Asuka to get the big win, but good. I like when NXT does these types of things. They did it with Juice and Thunder Liger. They've done it here and there with some other, kind of special attractions, and it'll be cool to see Mickie James this weekend. Obviously, the big match, Samoa Joe versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This is going to be awesome. I was there for their first match together, I believe, in WWE TV at NXT Takeover Brooklyn. It was awesome. It was hard hitting. It was ridiculous, but they're going to tear up the scene. And actually, I didn't mention that the DIY guys versus obviously Ciampa and Gargano versus the Revival is a 2 out of 3 falls match. So that's interesting to note. Those will be fun. That has kind of become a staple of NXT, and it's been fun. It would have been cool to kind of see this in a 2 out of 3 falls match. But I do think this is kind of Samoa Joe's swan song, perhaps, to NXT. I think it's going to continue. I think Nakamura will keep the title, and then I would not be stunned. And again, this is just speculation, if before long we saw Samoa Joe in a WWE main roster ring, whether it be on Raw or SmackDown Live. So I do predict that Shinsuke Nakamura wins, but who knows? I didn't think that Joe was going to beat Finn Balor the first time he did it for the title either. So you never know, but it should be a lot of fun. And a great show. NXT guys, they always deliver. I think there may be 1 or 2 other matches in there. If I'm forgetting them, I do apologize. Again, I did just say, recovering from the vertigo thing, so maybe my brains are a little scrambled, but in any event, let me know what you guys think about NXT Takeover Toronto. Are you guys excited for the show? Let me know on the Twitter at TommyOnTheSpot or at Daily_Spotlight, or right in the comment section below. We'll be back later today. If you haven't had enough of me, I'll be back later today. I'll be at least filming later today. Whether or not this is posted later today or throughout the night, but this will be up real soon. My predictions for the WWE Survivor Series, the 30th annual Survivor Series. Survivor Series and I are neck and neck in terms of age. But in any event, take care, everybody, and enjoy a very fun weekend of WWE TV. Take care. Be well.